On the night of March 6, 1987, this particular roll-on, roll-off ferry was leaving the port of Zeebrugge, Belgium to cross the English Channel to Dover, England, carrying 80 crew members, 459 passengers, 81 cars, 3 buses, and 47 trucks. Now, this particular ferry had 2 different vehicle decks. There was E deck and G deck. Now, on their original route, they were able to load both decks with vehicles at the same time. But Zeebrugge was not its original ferry location, and the ramp at Zeebrugge would not allow it to reach high enough to load E deck. In order to fix this, they filled the ballast tanks on the bow of the ship to allow the ramp to reach high enough to load E deck with cars. The problem was, after they had finished loading the cars up, they never released the water from the ballast to put the ship back at its normal level. But this wouldn't be the only problem. You see, the ship then left port, and after about 2 minutes of being out on the English Channel, all of the decks began rapidly filling with water, and the ship began to list to the port side. It would rapidly right itself and then immediately capsized over towards the port side, trapping everyone aboard. So what happened? Well, you see, when they leave harbor, the assistant bosun is supposed to close the bow doors to prevent water from rushing in when they go out on the English Channel. The problem was, the assistant bosun didn't close the doors. In fact, he couldn't close the doors because he was asleep in his bunk. The captain of the ship could not see that the bow doors were open because of the way the ship was designed, and there was no indicator on the bridge to indicate the doors were open because it was decided it was frivolous to spend money to see if someone had properly done their job or not. And I guess now would be a good time to tell you what the actual name of this ferry was, the Herald of Free Enterprise. Free enterprise being that thing where companies operate with almost no state control and no regulations to do whatever they want. And I know what you're thinking. Shouldn't this have been prevented if there had been watertight compartments to seal off the areas of this boat so that it didn't completely cover the entire boat in water? And no, there were not. And if you're curious why no one else thought to check to make sure the doors were closed, the first officer thought he saw the assistant bosun coming, but didn't actually and just left. And then the actual bosun knew that the doors were open, but didn't close them because, quote, that's not his job. In the end, the sinking of the MS Herald of Enterprise killed 193 passengers and crew, with many of them succumbing to hypothermia still inside the ship because divers could not get to them in time before high tide. In the end, Townsend Thorson, that owned the ship, was charged with corporate manslaughter, and 7 people with the company were charged with gross negligence manslaughter, but they were all acquitted because they could not pin the acts of negligence on a single person.